Gospel Connection.
Hey, we're listening to Zelda Robinson on the Gospel Connection. It's WEJM 950 AM 950.
Good evening and welcome to Sunday Gospel. Zelda Robinson joining you in the 4 o'clock hour as we kick off this Easter Sunday weekend. Yes, and it's the last Sunday of the month as we celebrate Easter Sunday and the last Sunday of the month with Women's History Month. And for your listening pleasure today, I have a young lady by the name of Sharon Jenkins, whom I met through doing volunteer work with Women Employed, a youth mentoring program. It's through the Career Links program. And her name is Sharon Jenkins. And Friday, she invited me out to her dissertation to receive her PhD in biophysical chemistry. Did I get that right, Sharon?
I believe you got that right,
I said, and that was really amazing. That was the first time I had ever attended anything of that nature. I've heard of the process, but I have never witnessed it. And I saw you standing before the room of, were all of those people, were they all doctors?
Yeah, most of them were people from other sciences from the department and other PhD students who come out to hear other PhD candidates defend their thesis. So it's quite nice, and it's a different process from people who are getting their MD. So we have to defend all the research that we've done over the past, it took me 5 years.
And it took you 5 years to do that research?
Well, actually 4.5 to do the research. I started the program, though, a year before I actually started my research. So it takes about, on the average, for a scientist, when they actually get their PhD, about 5 years, the average, I think.
And I think it's amazing what you say that you had to defend it.
Yeah, and see, the committee gets to hack you, after you defend to the public, or you're kind of telling the public in about 45 minutes all of the research you've done. But then the committee gets to, hack at you afterwards to kind of see if you know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed the questions that were floating around the room. They were good questions.
Yeah.
It did help me understand your area of expertise, which was you were discussing sickle cell.
Yeah.
And you broke it down in such a way, in layman's tongue, because some of the words, most of the words, as a matter of fact, that you were using, they were about a yard long.
Yeah.
But it was so nice the way that you explained it so the average person could understand it.
Well, good. I wanted to get more people out, but it was really nice. It was nice to see you out.
It really was, and it was so nice to see a young lady who is so young obtaining her PhD, because there are not a lot of sisters who can afford to put themselves through school and go ahead and complete their education.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't mean to sound stereotypical, but due to finances and family and other circumstances beyond our control, that doesn't always happen, and sometimes it happens at a later date. But we wanted to recognize one of our own, someone who is in the community, who is not only a part of history, but making history. And we thank you for the opportunity for taking the time to come out and share that with us. Not only do I know a little bit more about sickle cell anemia, but I also know that Sharon is also a singer, and she sings gospel too.
Yeah.
Is the sister talented or what? We've got to come and see you. Can we come out and see you sing sometime?
Sure. We kind of nomad around. I sing for a band called the Eddie Harrison Band, and we do a lot of, we do some of everything, actually. We do a lot of weddings, and sometimes we're at different pub sites, or it just varies.
You're just all over the place.
It's kind of all over the place. We do a little bit of everything.
And when I left the Loyola University but Friday, there was a notice up on the door, and I took it down.
Really?
I said, she won't notice that it's missing. It was the announcement saying that you were there to defend your presentation for your doctorate degree, and also for your advisor, Dr. Leslie Fung.
Yeah, Dr. Leslie Fung.
She's such a nice lady.
Yeah, she had a long, hard well with me, but she got me through.
And we'd like to acknowledge Dr. Fung and the dissertation committee, Dr. Daniel Graham, Willetta Green Johnson, Dr. Ken Olson, and Dr. Griffin Rogers. And
he wasn't there, but he's a pretty good guy from NIH in Maryland.
What's NIH?
National Institute of Health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And also the faculty and staff and everyone from your Dr. Fung's lab and the Loyola University of Chicago and all your family and friends.
Yeah.
We sincerely thank you for doing the very best you can be, and to continue to come out and work with our young ladies in the community, because they're all thrilled to know that you are not only a mentor for Women Employed's school to work program, but that you've taken the time to get your education as well as your singing.
Yeah.
And that's so very important to know.
Well, thanks, Zelda.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Sharon Jenkins, Dr. Sharon Jenkins, and Zelda Robinson on the Gospel Connection. Thank you so much, Dr. Jenkins. You have to get used to that name now.
I know, it's kind of rough there.
You have to get used to that name. So thank you, Dr. Jenkins, for coming out. I sincerely appreciate it. Continue with more great gospel on 950 AM WEJM, where we play the latest and, yes, the greatest in Sunday gospel. To reach Maya Angelou and Ashford and Simpson on 950 AM WEJM with their latest recording, Been Found. Did you get a chance to see them at the expo for today's Black Woman Gala? It was wonderful. They sang about 3 or 4 different songs from the latest CD, and it was truly marvelous. Yolanda Adams before that with My Desire. It's 4:53, and it's my desire to give you tickets to see the Otis Redding story. If you are, let's pick a number, Tawa. 12. Number 12. Tawa says number 12. If you're my 12th caller, you will get a chance to see Otis Redding, the Otis Redding story, playing at the Black Ensemble Theater at 4250 North Beacon in Chicago. Now, it's not a gospel play, but it is spiritual. Everything that we do is spiritual, whether we know that or not. So if you'd like to see Otis Redding, give us a call, 708-895-1400. That's 708-895-1400 to see tickets to see Otis Redding. WEJM wants to remind you that the Rainbow Push Coalition wants you to know that you're facing job discrimination based on age, race, gender, or physical disability. Join the Reverend Jackson and the committee every Saturday at 9 a.m. at Dr. King's Workshop, 930 East 50th Street. That's 50th and Drexel Boulevard, and help them unlock the doors of equal opportunity. And they also meet on Monday nights from 6 until 8. If you'd like to get more information, call area code 773-373-3366. That's area code 773-3366. And also yesterday, many of the community leaders were there with the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Bobby Rush, and Roland Burris, and Brother Rice, and some of the other local officials were there talking about this horrible hate crime that happened to a young man by the name of Leonard Clark, who was in the Bridgeport area, and he was beat unmercifully. And he is now in rehabilitation, but this young man was in Armour Square Park, and 3 young teenagers beat him so bad, and they left him for dead. But little did they know that God has a mission for this young man, and it just was not his time to leave here. And a fund has been established at the South Shore Bank, because this man is going to need serious rehabilitation for the rest of his life. Not only is he going to have to learn how to speak again, but to read, to walk, and to talk and to chew. He can't even swallow. He has a tube down his throat. A 13-year-old child. What do we have to do in our community to stop this madness? That's why I think it's important that we all show up at Operation Push so that we can see how is it that we can make a difference in our communities, because our children are dying. Our children are dying, and it's up to us to stop this madness. So if you would like to send a contribution to the South Shore Bank in care of Leonard Clark, please feel free to do so. That's the South Shore Bank at 4658 South Drexel in Chicago, and zip code is 60653. If you need more information, give me a call here at the station, and I'll get that to you. Also, let us keep the family in our prayers, because we know this young man. See, it's often said that it's a shame, and it is a shame, but everything happens in this world for a reason. And I'm not saying that it's good, and I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that it is. And the plans that God has for this young man, none of us may ever know, and some things just aren't for us to know. But let us do what we can to help and keep him and the family in our prayers, because we know what the power of prayer can do, don't we? Mm-hmm. I know. Put your hand down. That's quite all right. You can raise them if you want to. Put them together. It's quite all right, because we know what the power of prayer can do. More great gospel headed your way as we continue, and be encouraged. Here's William Beckton on 950 AM WEJM.
Put those hands together all across the building tonight. Let the devil know that you encouraged. Let him know that you...
From the request line, Donnie McClurkland with Stand. That is the most requested song that I get.
He's done so much on the Gospel Ride Home. It's Gospel Radio 1390. Well, the ministry is in the music. I'm Zelda, inviting you to stay with me until 6 o'clock this evening. Coming up at 5, we've got commercial-free music headed your way, but we've also got a Gospel Radio 1390 CD prize pack for you. And it also includes a bonus gift. Oh, you're going to love this. You qualify for 1 year's supply of movies or game rentals from Blockbuster Video, courtesy of SBC. I'll take my 13th caller right now at 591-3878 or star 1390. How much do you know?
Gospel Radio 1390. And the music.
Congratulations, and hope this isn't the last time that you win anything, especially here at Gospel Radio 1390. It's 3:47. Good afternoon. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home. Look at traffic. The traffic report is brought to you by LifeSource. Make giving blood a part of your holiday tradition. Visit one of LifeSource convenient donor centers or host a LifeSource blood drive at your school, office, or place of worship. Call 877-LifeSource today. Feel good and give blood. Let's check the roadways at Gospel Radio 1390 Traffic Center. On the Edens outbound to Lake Cook, it's 20 minutes. On the Kennedy outbound to O'Hare, 25 minutes. On the express lanes, 10 minutes. And the Eisenhower I-290 outbound to I-355, 40 minutes. On the Stevenson to the Tri-State, 25 minutes. On the Dan Ryan to 5th, it's 25. Bishop Ford to I-9094, 20 minutes. I-57 to I-80, 25 minutes. And LSD, Lakeshore Drive, Hollywood to Jackson, it's 10 minutes. On the Kingery-Borman I-9094 westbound, tight traffic in pockets from the state line to Bishop Ford. All the tollways, no reported problems, and neither is CTA, so hope you're having a good gospel ride home.
Used Car Style Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music.
4 minutes before the 4 o'clock hour on Life-Changing Radio. It's Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home. As we continue to celebrate Kwanzaa, if you can tell me what principle we are at today in the celebration of Kwanzaa and what it means. If you can tell me that, I just might have a prize for you. That's right. Tell me what principle is today for Kwanzaa and what it means. 591-3878 or star 1390. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have Jesus.
For Radio 1390.
WGCI Chicago on Clear Channel Station. Gospel Radio 1390.
It's 2 minutes after the 4 o'clock hour. Life-changing radio. It's Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home. Are you enjoying your Monday? I certainly hope so. God's got a gift for you, and it's called life. He's already giving you the present. The question is, what will you do with it? And if you're celebrating Kwanzaa, or if you're thinking about celebrating Kwanzaa, be sure and get on over to Malcolm X College. You can get a first-hand experience of what the Kwanzaa experience is all about. Let's continue with Quincy Jones. Hallelujah. Handel's Messiah on Gospel Radio 1390. Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you, Mother Richmond. I think I better put that soup in some Tupperware. I don't think I better put it in a Ziploc, because if I do, it's going to be melting all over the place. I'll be walking to work and got soup dripping down my pocket. People think I'm crazy. Something else is leaking. Not quite. It's 4:23 on Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. And it's time for your traffic report, which is brought to you by Chicago Tribune and Cars.com. If you're car shopping, put yourself in the driver's seat with Chicago Tribune and Cars.com, two of Chicagoland's most trusted sources of auto listings in print and online. As we head out to the expressways on the Edens outbound to Lake Cook Road, it's 20 minutes. And the Kennedy Express, it's 10 minutes. Eisenhower I-290 outbound to I-355, it's 40 minutes. Stevenson outbound to the Tri-State, 25 minutes. The Dan Ryan to 95th, 25. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to 94, 20 minutes. On the I-57 to I-80, it's 25 minutes. On the Lakeshore Drive, Hollywood to Jackson, it's still 10 minutes. Kingery, Borman, I-90-94 westbound. Tight traffic in pockets from the state line to the Bishop Ford. It's still rather tight there, so slow down and take your time. We do want to make it into the new year. All the tollways are still looking good. There are no problems reported, including CTA, public transportation. As we continue the spirit of Kwanzaa, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, today is day 4, where we're celebrating Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Today's principle is brought to you by the AARP, the power to make it better. Happy Kwanzaa from your friends at Gospel Radio 1390.
Gospel Radio 1390. We play new music.
Yeah, this is Chris. Well, I'm calling to see if I can get the CD package. All right, baby, I will. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
591-3878 or star 1390 is the number to call if you'd like to win the prize pack. If you can tell me what principle we're celebrating in Kwanzaa.
Okay, thank you.
As we continue celebrating the 4th principle of Kwanzaa today, which is Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Today's principle is brought to you by the AARP, the power to make it better. Now remember, this is your last chance of the day, because coming up at 5 o'clock, it's all commercial-free music for the Gospel Ride Home, so you'll only get one more chance. Today's principle, which is the 4th principle, is Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics. That's your last hint, folks. This is Zelda. I'm guest starring for Mike Robinson on Gospel Radio 1390. Hope you get it this time.
Of new Chapstick All Natural. It's the new natural choice from Chapstick. Use as directed.
591-3878 or star 1390 and your Verizon cellular phone. Coming up in about 2 minutes, it's the Ride Home commercial-free music. In the meantime, in between time, I'm Zelda guest starring for Mike Robinson, looking for a winner for the Kwanzaa prize pack.
Hi, how you doing? This is Kevin. I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois. I'm South Side. Can I tell you, no.
Well, the ministry is in the music.
Congratulations. You listening tomorrow, you can still win the CD prize pack. So stay close and listen for what tomorrow's Kwanzaa principle is. Remember, today is day 4, and the principle is Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. That's right. In other words, spend the money in the hood, okay? Today's tool is brought to you by the AARP, the power to make it better. Happy Kwanzaa from your friends at Gospel Radio 1390. So as you're out and about spending your dollars, don't go too far from your neighborhood. Well, it appears to me that pretty much everything in the neighborhood is owned by other folks. But you know what I mean. When you see somebody selling something out the trunk of their car, their bicycle, motorcycle, the guys walking up and down the street with the socks and the gloves and the hats and the towels, shop with them. Keep the money in the neighborhood, especially if they're selling out the trunk of their car. I'm sure you've heard success stories about people selling things out of the trunk of their car. They've bought cars, financed homes by selling things out of the trunk of their cars. So just keep that in mind. And speaking of cars, it's time to take a look at the traffic, which is brought to you by LifeSource. Make giving blood a part of your holiday tradition. Visit one of LifeSource's convenient donor centers or host the LifeSource blood drive at your school or place of worship. Call 1-877-LifeSource today. Feel good and give blood. That reminds me, I haven't given any blood lately. I think it's time. Last time I went to give some blood, I couldn't because I was anemic. Wasn't eating enough iron. So hopefully it's built up. That's been some years. So anyway, on Eden's outbound to Lake Cook is 20 minutes. On the Kennedy outbound to O'Hare, 25. Kennedy Express lanes are 12 minutes. On the Eisenhower, I-290, I-355, 45 minutes. On the Stevenson to the Tri-State, 30 minutes. On the Dan Ryan to 95th, it's 30 minutes. On the Bishop Ford, I-90-94, 25 minutes. On the I-57 to I-80, 28 minutes. On Lakeshore Drive from Jackson to Hollywood is 15 minutes. On the Kingery-Borman, I-90-94 westbound, traffic lights in pockets from the state line to the Bishop Ford, so it's still a little tight there. Take your time. On the tollways, there are still no reported problems, thank God. And CTA is running on time. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on The Gospel Ride Home. Continue to celebrate Kwanzaa. Your good get better, and you better be blessed as the blessings are still to come. Make it a great day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. It's Gospel Radio 1390.
Gospel Radio.
It's life-changing radio, Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. It's 2:02, 2 minutes after the 2 o'clock hour. I'm Zelda, guest starring for my big brother, Mike Robinson. Yeah, you can count on it. We are going to have a good time here today. It's the last Tuesday of the month of the year. And the question is, well, you hang around long enough, you'll find out what the question is as we kick off this hour with music from William Remsen, Mary, and Lee Williams. Tell me, have you learned yet, people? Have you learned to lean on the one and only one who can take you through it all? Well,
God, we bless your name. Thank you for remembering our tears and restoring our years.
That's Donna Lawrence, Restoring the Years on Life-Changing Radio. It's Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home. As we continue with the celebration of Kwanzaa, today is Tuesday, December 30th, as we celebrate the fifth principle, Nia, which means purpose. And that's what we're all about. Until one realizes their purpose on earth, they simply exist. To quote my dear friend Linda Shepard from the Mayor's Office of Workforce Development and Program Director at the Johnny Coleman Institute, and also from Passion Principles, Pathways to Purpose, Power, and Profit, she says a job pays the rent. Training for a vocation provides you with a career in which your passion is the journey in which your purpose unfolds. So the question is, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Your purpose, your destiny awaits you. Find it, live it, and love it. It's the fifth principle of Kwanzaa. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home on Gospel Radio 1390.
Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music.
It's 2:33 on Life Changing Radio. Gospel Radio 1390, where the ministry is in the music. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson on the Gospel Ride Home. It's almost the end of the year. What will you be doing as the year closes out? Will you be at church? Will you be at home? Will you be visiting the sick? What will you be doing? I very seldom have a day off. So I think what I'll do is just sit back, take a nice long bubble bath, and reflect on what the new year is going to bring and what the last year has already given us. What would you do? 591-3878 or star 1390 on your Verizon cellular phone as we continue with BB and CC Winans' Heaven on 1390. If you'd like to tell us what your blessing of the year or what you plan to do for the end of the year for New Year's Eve, I'd love to hear about it. 591-3878 or star 1390 on your Verizon cellular phone. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson, my big brother who's probably somewhere in the Caribbean, in the southern, western Caribbean, somewhere just basking in the sun. If you can hear me, Mike, bring back a postcard. Or better yet, bring back some sun. 10 minutes before the 3 o'clock hour on the Gospel Ride Home as we continue with music from Luther Barnes and Yolanda Adams. Don't know if you know, but he's always, may not be there when you want him, but he's always on time. Dottie Peoples, 1390. Come on, Reverend, play it. And wonderful he is, Chicago's own, the Reverend Clay Evans. Oh, we love you, Pastor, as we continue with more music on the Gospel Ride Home. I'm Zelda, guest starring for Mike Robinson. You want to ask yourself sometime, who is it? What is it that saves you during those trying times?
What is this?
It's music from the request line from our good friend Will Stegall, headed out to Indiana Avenue. Well, not Indiana Avenue, Indiana, to play that lottery. Well, you know, I don't usually, for all those millions, you can pick me up a ticket or two. I'll take a chance. Well, it's just the end of the year. May as well. You never know what's in store for you. Okay? It's Gospel Radio 1390. GMWA. What are my steps? Steps.